Hey everyone, I'm here with my very good friend and fellow coach, Chelsea Rose. She is a feminine energy, love, and success coach for women, and we're so excited to be here today. Welcome, Chelsea.
Hi, I love coming on your channel, so I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, yes, thank you guys so much for sticking with us. Everyone who's in the live chat, we had some Wi-Fi issues on Chelsea's end earlier, but we are good to go. If anything happens, just come right back into this link. And I have our notes in front of us today, which is
Perfect.
unusual, but I just feel like this is totally going to work out. So for those of you who are just joining, say hi in the chat, or if you're watching the replay of this, let us know where you're watching from. Just going to wait a couple minutes for some people to join. Today, we're talking about 5 subconscious feminine signals that men are programmed to respond to and make you absolutely irresistible. This is something I get asked about all the time. And actually, Chelsea, I'd love to hear your take on this. But in my perspective, these are like ways of being that actually send a signal to a man that triggers all kinds of feelings in him. And we're going to be talking about this as we go along. Anything you want to say before we get started?
Yeah, totally. This is really an embodiment practice. It's an approach, an attitude, and all of that turns into like supports you in how you actually show up in your feminine energy and starts to dictate your actions as well. So it all starts with these energetic embodiment practices. So I'm super excited to dive in.
Love it. Okay, looks like we got some people joining. There's a little bit of a delay, but hi to everyone in the chat. We love seeing your comments. We'll get to some questions at the end if we can. So if you have questions for us, type them in. We'll get to the Q&A at the end. And what did I want to say before we get started? Oh yeah, join us for the Magnetic Mentorship Circle. We opened up a few new spots for this. This is the only way to work with me personally, and it's the two of us together in a group coaching program. If you're interested, you can close the live chat, click the title of this video. It'll open up the description and you can go check that out. It's the first link in there. Anything you want to say quickly before we jump in?
Oh my gosh, we have so much fun in the Magnetic Mentorship Circle. Helena and I love
Yes,
all the women.
yes.
All the women already in it. This place to get your custom questions answered. This is your place to have access, like she said, to Helena and to myself, to have this amazing supportive community of women cheering you on in your magnetic feminine energy. So more on that
Yes.
later.
Oh my gosh. Yes. My heart just feels so full every time we have a call. And I love the women in there. I feel like it's our best kept secret. But as you guys know, I don't do private coaching anymore. This is the only way to work with me personally every month. So go ahead and click that first link in the description and check it out. So, all right. Looks like we have a good amount of people joining. Chelsea, what is that first feminine signal that men are programmed to respond to?
Yeah, so the first signal is this signal that she respects herself. So she has high standards. She doesn't accept breadcrumbs. She's not, the distinction I want to make here, she's not in a demanding energy. She just gracefully embodies what she knows that she wants, and she gracefully embodies her self-worth. And so another way that this shows up is she doesn't endlessly wait on a guy. She doesn't like spend time or waste time on a guy who clearly doesn't want the same thing as her. She just has those high standards. She knows what she gets to have. And that sends this signal that really commands respect to her because she respects herself.
Love it. So great. This one is pretty obvious. Some of these other ones we're going to share are much more subtle, but we wanted to start with this one because it's huge. I know it's easy to do this with men we don't really care about or we don't have strong feelings for. But what I see with women in my community, I'd love to hear your experience with this, Chelsea, is typically women are, they know that they're amazing. They know they're a great catch, but then sometimes one guy comes along and it's like this one guy that she finally feels attracted to. It's the only guy she has these kind of rare, strong feelings for. And then it can be easy to kind of compromise your boundaries or, compromise your values or your standards with this one particular man. Do you see that as well, Chelsea?
Oh my gosh, I see it all the time. And this kind of leads to an underlying issue that I think a lot of women have that find this challenging, which is we don't believe that there's an abundance of men. I'm seeing the comments that are making me laugh.
I know.
We don't believe there's an abundance of good men that we could also be attracted to. Like I find that so many women that come to us are in this space where they either don't believe there's a lot of good men who want commitment, or maybe they believe that there are a lot of men that want commitment in this world, but there aren't a lot that they would find attractive, or there aren't a lot that they would have chemistry with and all this stuff. And so, yeah, just bringing some light and and awareness to where you might be holding some limiting beliefs. Because if you have that belief that there just aren't a lot of guys that are high quality, that want commitment, that you're also attracted to, that's 100% going to dictate your experience in dating. So just know that there's an abundance of sexy men, high quality men that want commitment that are available to you, so that when there is that one guy that you have a lot of interest in and you feel all the feelings for, you can stay in that leaned back energy with the high standards and not compromise out of a feeling of scarcity.
Oh my gosh, yes. While I was getting ready for this live stream, I was listening to the replay of one of the calls for this coaching program. This might have been Magnetic Mastery, which is included in the program as well.
Right,
and it was, oh my gosh, Chelsea, everything you said resonated with me so much. You were coaching a woman in our amazing group to reframe this and say something like, I can feel chemistry with all kinds of men, or real chemistry can be, believe you said, built, yes, cultivated or created, or was some word that you started with the C. It was amazing.
Cultivated.
Cultivated.
Yes.
Chemistry can be cultivated, and I have the ability to do that with the right kind of person, not just the kind of person that fits into my old wounds or patterns, right?
So good.
I love that.
Yeah. And that's a part of our core curriculum that's only accessible inside the Magnetic Mentorship Circle. So
yes, and we're filming that too live this week too. So if you guys join, you can catch that and just get some extra coaching, extra live work with just the two of us. I love this intimate group where I can share real personal things that I'm, looking to attract right now. And it's just the most amazing thing. So I love that. If you guys have questions about this first one, let us know in the chat. But it's basically not settling or not accepting crumbs, or not breaking your own boundaries or standards in the face of this, rare chemistry you feel with this one particular man. So I'm loving these. I'm loving these comments. I'm trying not to put them all on the screen, but I just wanted to acknowledge everyone that's here. Thank you so much. And let us know any questions you have. We'll try and get to them at the end, as many as we can. So yeah, what's number 2, Chelsea?
Yes. Number 2 is she accepts herself, and she also accepts him. So I wanted to give an example of this. I was talking to Helena about this earlier, that I recently asked my husband, I love asking him questions and then having it kind of like inspire my teachings here, because I see him as this empowered masculine man. And so I said, what's one of the most attractive feminine things about me? And I was so surprised. I was like, oh my God, really? He said, unconditional love. Like, your unconditional love is one of the most attractive feminine energy things about me. And it was surprising to me, because I didn't quite make the association that really is the feminine energy. That really is this signal that we're sending to a man that lets him feel like he can be himself, right? And lets him feel like you're not judging him, right? And that you're in this, to accept yourself. Like we were talking about this, Helena and I are preparing for this, that how does it feel to be like with a girlfriend who's really self-critical, right? Who's like complaining about like, oh, I need to fix this about myself. Like, oh, like I need to lose weight, or I need to, like when you're in the energy of someone who's really self-critical, how does it make you feel? It starts to make you feel kind of like, oh, well, what is she, like, I don't see.
Oh, your screen just froze up really quick. I know exactly where you're going with that. When you're with a girl,
way, right?
Oh, there we go.
And here she is. Hear me? Right.
Yeah, I think you're back. Your screen's frozen, but I can hear you talking. I think where you're going with that is when you're with a girlfriend or someone who's really self-critical, it can make you feel like, oh my gosh, she's critical of herself and she's so beautiful. What does she think about me? Like, you feel like you might be judged, right? And men pick up on this all the time. So I think the signal that this sends to a man, we're talking about the subconscious signal. If you accept yourself, it sends this signal to a man. Oh, she's okay with herself. She's okay with her own unpleasant feelings or parts of herself that she might want to hide from others. That's how he knows that you're going to accept him and his flaws, his insecurities. Super important. I hope I picked up on that. I think that's where you're going with that, right?
Totally. Can you hear me and see me now?
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And we often don't realize that one of the biggest ways that we emasculate men is through our criticism. So like holding ourselves to this, like, this standard that is impossible to reach, just, it really emasculates an empowered man. It's going to turn off the right guy. All of these signals are going to, when you embody them, they're going to pull forth like the empowered masculine energy out of a guy, right? And make him want to lean in and commit and all these things. So being in a state of loving yourself and accepting yourself, knowing that you're perfectly imperfect, is going to create this feminine warmth that makes him want to lean in towards you.
So important. Oh my gosh. I love how you put that. And also the other piece of that is accepting him. Of course, if he's a good guy and he's showing you that he is consistent and reliable and dependable, we're not saying just accept whatever a guy does. He pulls away a lot and you just have to accept it and tolerate it. Go back to number one, right? You have to be really clear on your standards and what feels good to you in a relationship, right? But once you have a great guy, once an empowered masculine man, you've attracted him into your life, you know, he wants to feel that you're going to accept him. And I did want to mention, it's not by telling him, I mean, you could tell a guy all day long, oh, I love you, I accept you. But a man is not going to believe that you accept him until he sees that you accept you. And this is all a work in progress. I certainly can be hard on myself. We all struggle with this, right? But just the tiniest shift in that direction will get you incredible results, because I think in long-term relationships, especially, you end up sharing things with your partner that nobody else knows, that you've been ashamed to tell people maybe in the past. So if a man can feel comfortable opening up, and you can as well, and accepting each other, it's that unconditional love you were talking about, that can just turn things in such a positive direction, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. The unconditional self-acceptance. It just, when you love yourself, you can love other people, you know, and it's just, it's mirrored back to us. Like he feels it, even if it's on a subconscious level. Right. So yeah, these are all those subconscious, amazing shifts that you guys get to make. That's going to inspire him to want to commit and all of that.
Love it. I think that's great. So with the first one, the signal that sends a man is she's a high value woman. She, you know, you have to, there's a minimum level of effort that's required to even be in, you know, get to spend 1 second with her. Again, it's not something you have to tell a man. He's going to feel this from you if you're doing all of this correctly. The second signal is that, oh, she accepts herself. She loves herself. That's how I know that she's going to love and accept me and all the things I feel insecure about. And again, this is going on a very deep subconscious level. And are you ready to move on to number 3?
I love that recap. Yes, I am. So the third one is that she has this trust that the right guy is going to pursue her, and that she doesn't need to try to move that forward or try to make that happen. So it's this deep trust really in life itself, or in source, or in the universe, that she gets to have what she wants, right? And so how this shows up is she doesn't try to force things to work, right? She doesn't try to, I love how you say, like, apply.
Oh, you froze up again. Yeah, I think what you're saying here is applying tactics. You don't try to constantly apply tactics to make a guy do what you want, right? I hear this all the time. One I've been hearing a lot lately is around no contact. Someone will say, well, he says he's not ready for a relationship, so I'm going into no contact for 2 weeks. What do I do at the end of 2 weeks? Do I contact him? It's like all about him, right? You're trying to apply these tactics or do something to make him feel a certain way. And you just don't have to do that. When you're fully trusting, like exactly what Chelsea said, when you're fully trusting that the right guy is going to pursue you and want to commit to you all on his own without all of this prompting or prodding or pressure from you, a man feels like all this space is open up. It's like he feels he feels safe to come towards you, and he feels safe to take over that masculine energy role. And it looks like Chelsea has left the stream for a little bit, so that's totally fine. I just told her to, if something happens with her Wi-Fi, to come back. So it's just me now, but I'll keep going with this. Where are you at with this trusting? Are you guys fully at a place where you feel that the right man will absolutely come towards you, and you don't really have to do anything other than show up and be yourself and be warm and open and receptive to him? I'll go ahead and take a couple questions and comments while I'm waiting for Chelsea to go back on. Come back on. Learning how to peacefully communicate my boundaries and perspective has been huge for our bonding and understanding with one another. Love that. Thank you so much for sharing your experience here. We love you too. You guys are so sweet. Let's see. I saw a great question from SF. How to do it gracefully. I think you were talking about the first one, how to set standards or state your boundaries in a graceful way. Do I have that right? Let me know in the chat, but I'll answer this as though you were talking about the first one. I think simply, talking about how something would feel to you, right? I did a video about a month ago with my husband. He was my fiance at the time. And it was on how to, or what to say to inspire a man to prioritize you. And we talked about how it's not about applying tactics, sort of what we're talking about in this third step here. It's not about applying tactics to try to make a guy step up or do something, right? It's just simply about expressing how it would feel. It would feel amazing to hear your voice. It feels amazing to receive a phone call from you or see your name pop up on my phone, or it feels really good to talk on the nights we don't see each other, depending on where you're at in this relationship. Something like that, right? It doesn't feel good. I don't really feel up for driving tonight. I don't feel up for, having to drive home late at night, but it would feel really good to see you. What do you think? Right? Is there something we could do to work this out? If a man's, asking you to drive to him or something, and it just doesn't feel good. Do you have any specific examples? And we can work there. I think this is great. I saw some more questions up here. How do I deal with a guy who's going through some personal family issues, whose dad's health isn't great, but he's been pulling away? I want to be a good friend, but not too clingy. So you want to be a good friend. You probably aren't in a relationship with this man, right? I have a video with Adrienne Everhart called What to Do If a Man is Depressed or Going Through Financial Issues or Going Through a Difficult Time. And that one would be really helpful. I also just published one a week or two ago with my mentor, Rory Ray, for exactly how to do this. Basically, it's letting him know that you'll be there for him without trying to solve his problems and do a bunch of things and try to show him how caring and you are. Just, hey, I'm here if you need me, but I totally trust that you're able to figure this out on your own. And maybe ask him what he wants if you're in a relationship. What would you like during this time? Would you like me to, be there for you and support you, or do you just need some space to figure this out? Hopefully that gave you some ideas. Okay, let's see. Okay, yes, I love this. Thank you guys so much for sharing your experience here. Can you still see me? Let me know, because I don't want to just be here on my own if you guys still can't see me. But Chelsea should be back soon. She has to get this thing where they resend the signal to her Wi-Fi. Okay, good. I'm glad that was helpful for you, Ria. I'll take a couple more questions while we're waiting for her to join. And if she doesn't, I'll just keep going with the content for this because I have it too. So, how do you show that that you love yourself? I think that's great. Thank you, Kristen. You guys can still see me. I would catch this. How do I show him that I love myself so that he knows that I love him, right? Catch yourself. Are you trying to show that you love yourself because you're trying to make something happen with him? Or if you simply love yourself, he's going to feel that, right? Men can feel that. You can feel it when a guy is insecure or boastful or cocky versus when he's truly secure and he has this kind of humble, modest energy. You can feel the difference there, right? So you don't really have to do something to show a man that you love yourself. He's going to feel that if you do, right? I mean, that could look like, not criticizing yourself, not beating yourself up in front of him. If you catch yourself doing that, just being super transparent. Oh my gosh, I just caught myself beating myself up. I need to love and forgive myself and just turn it around, right? Okay, awesome. I'm glad that was helpful. So love that. Just getting out of a horrible relationship, totally wounded. I'm healing. Oh my gosh, yes. My heart goes out to you. We've all been there and you're at the right place. I actually have a video on how to heal your heart and find true love again as well for people who are in that, especially if you came out of a toxic relationship or have overcome narcissistic abuse. You can search for that on my channel as well. And let's see. Let me look for some more questions. It's been forever since I've done a live stream just on my own. This is fun. How do you show that you're a high value woman? Example. Yeah, it's a great question. Simply not tolerating bad behavior or anything that doesn't feel good to you. One mistake I see women make all the time is just bringing up these endless conversations about their boundaries over and over and over. If you have to do that, that's a sign that you're just not with the right man, right? The right guy is going to care about your feelings. There's not going to be these endless boundary conversations. I recorded a video with my husband, Tom, on this that I'll be posting soon. It's kind of our unusual take on boundaries. I mean, of course, boundaries are super important. You don't want to just go through life with zero boundaries, but, if you have your boundaries really strong and really secure on the inside, that's what allows you to be open and soft and vulnerable on the outside. So a man can actually get close to you and you can see what he does and then respond to him in the moment. Like, right? So you don't have to do something to show him that you're high value, just like you don't have to do something to show him you love yourself. When you truly trust yourself, you trust your boundaries, you feel really confident, really secure, and you love yourself, a man's gonna feel that from you. So hope that was helpful. I have some, if you need more examples, tell me specifically what would be helpful for that one. Okay, Leah says, I keep saying no with kindness to men. It's so uncomfortable. How do you know if or when it is right to say yes to a man in terms of love and commitment? I would say don't try to force that clarity. You're going to feel it when something's right. If you're going to absolutely feel it, the choice will be the most obvious choice in the whole world. So if something doesn't feel right, listen to your intuition, because believe me, once you get committed, all those little things that were sort of red flags at the beginning, commitment doesn't solve that. Those things just get bigger and bigger and bigger. Right? So hope that was helpful. I might just keep going with this. I might just keep going with the content of this. Yeah, great questions about, is this chasing? Yes, love it. Love it. I trust if my guy is coming. I have evidence. Absolutely. Is it chasing if I always drive to him, but he pays for the trip? How does it feel to you? How does that feel to you? I mean, for some women, this would totally not work and it would be unacceptable because it just wouldn't feel good. So to continue doing that when it doesn't feel good, for some women, totally fine. Maybe they like driving. Maybe he's really busy, but your schedule is really flexible. It just works for you. How does this feel to you? For anyone in a situation asking this. Okay. Let me move on with the content for this, and then I'll get to some of these questions at the end. Hopefully things are working out with Chelsea's Wi-Fi and she can rejoin us. So we were on number 3. The signal is that you trust that the right man will pursue you all on his own without any prompting from you. You don't try and force something to work that's just not working. A guy is showing you and telling you with his actions what his priorities are, right? So you want to trust that and believe that. So number 4, the 4th feminine signal that men are programmed to respond to is this open energy. You're open, you're receptive, and you're curious about this man who's right in front of you. Or if you're in a relationship with a good guy, you give him the benefit of the doubt when there's a misunderstanding and you talk about it and work it out. You're open and curious. You don't just get triggered and close yourself off and start judging him, right? I always say to women, like, if you are, let's say you're online dating, meeting a bunch of guys, you wouldn't want to sit in front of a man on a date who's jaded and has had all these bad experiences with women. And then he's holding that against you. Like he thinks all women are gold diggers or looking out for something, right? You wouldn't want to be on a date or be in a relationship with a man like that. So you want to be open and curious and receptive. I've found personally that this open, kind of just this feminine energy, this soft on the outside, because you feel strong and secure on the inside from the first one, right? That's what allows you to be open and soft on the outside. So a guy can get close to you and you can see what he does and you can respond from that place. So let me know where you're at with this. Is this difficult for you guys? Do you have a hard time being open and receptive to a man? Or is this easy for you? Let me know. I'll connect with you guys in the comments over this one. Oh, you're so welcome, everybody. This is so great. Let me check in with you. I don't want to do all the content waiting for Chelsea to come back on, and then she comes back and then she has nothing more to share. So I'll just do the questions all throughout. Okay, let's see. Your videos help me to make some men chasing me like crazy. Thank you so much. The guy who left me for his ex is, wonder what video specifically you're talking about, but I'm so glad my videos have been helpful for you. Love hearing that. Okay, let's see. Love this, Catherine. This is great. I think men appreciate a woman who can lead by being vulnerable first. That gives them the okay to feel comfortable enough to reciprocate. Amazing. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, you guys are so sweet. Okay. Let's see. Great question. Did you and Tom go into the relationship with high self-esteem? You both never complained about yourself. How did you navigate this? Yeah, I mean, I can tend to honestly, the number 2 is tricky for me, that I can tend to be my own worst critic. I can tend to be hard on myself. Can anyone relate to that? So yeah, it's just what I talked about, being open about that, like saying, oh my gosh, I need to love myself more. I'm not accepting this part of myself. Just being super open and transparent. And he is, I chose a man who is the most loving, accepting, just loves every single thing about me. All the things that I think are annoying and irritating about myself, that's the reason he loves me. And the right guy will do that. Men fall in love with you for what you perceive to be your flaws or insecurities, not in spite of them, right? Okay, good. Good. Yes, I can relate. Love it. All right. Oh, we had that one from Catherine. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. It's challenging to be open with online dating. Yeah, I can relate to that. Absolutely. Would you guys like some help with that? Like how to, like maybe the mindset to remain open when you're online dating? Let me know in the chat and I'll get to that at the end. But for everyone watching, yes. Okay. Awesome. We'll do that at the end. Let me get to number 5 for everyone who's just here for the content and they're not so much into the Q&A. Basically, the 5th feminine signal that men are programmed to respond to is a woman who feels confident enough to express herself freely. She has no problem expressing her needs and boundaries and desires. And Chelsea and I hear this all the time in our group where we're coaching you guys personally. People are afraid to say anything or do anything. They're like walking on eggshells because they feel like one wrong move is going to send the guy that they want out the door. And it's just not true. The right guy is going to care about how you feel. He's going to want to know what it is that would make you happy, right? So the confidence to express yourself. Where are you guys at with this? Is this difficult for you, expressing yourself, talking about some of these standards and values that you have from the first one? And oh, good. Okay, I'll talk about the online dating stuff at the end. I had no idea that a lot of times people don't want to hear about online dating because they just don't like it. But I would love to. You guys know I met my husband Tom online, so I'll talk about that after we get through this one. So the confidence to express herself freely. A high value woman has no problem, expressing her needs, her desires, things like that. So the signal that this sends to a man is that he doesn't have to guess, right? He doesn't have to like constantly try and like wonder what would make you happy. Like you're just super straightforward. And, that's how he knows, oh, I can trust her. Okay, so briefly, that was the 5th one. Do you want me to recap these 5? Oh, it looks like Chelsea's back on. Let's add her to the stream. Hey, Chelsea, how are you?
Hi, good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. I actually just went through all 5 of them. I was just about to recap. Do you want to recap these in your sort of from your perspective, and then we can get to some questions? I'm so glad you made it back on.
So the audio is like so bad on my end. I can't really hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're a little quiet. So maybe if you just like speak as loud as you feel comfortable and recap these 5, that would be awesome. People can hear it from your perspective.
Okay. Thank you guys for your patience. So the recap is number 1. The first signal is she respects herself, right? So she has high standards. She holds those standards with this graceful energy of self-love, self-respect. And that perfectly leads into number 2, which is she accepts herself and she accepts him. So she is this warm, loving, accepting energy that invites him in, that makes him feel safe and want to lean into intimacy with her. And then number 3 is she trusts that the right man will pursue her, and she allows that to unfold. So she doesn't apply tactics. She doesn't try to force things into place. So she just, really calls in the kind of man that will do that through that trust. And then number 4, she is open and receptive to him. So she has open curiosity. She's warm. She's not bringing in her projections or that jaded energy. She's really open to him and makes eye contact, is flirty, has open body language, and is really, again, like unattached in a healthy way where she's not putting her own projections onto the space. She's letting him really be himself and come towards her. And the final one and 5th one is she is confident in her communication. So she's not walking on eggshells in this space either. She's really in her body and versus in her head, right? So she's not analyzing everything. She's really in her feminine energy and knows that as long as she's in that energy, whatever she says is going to support her, right? So she's not feeling afraid to say the wrong thing all the time. She's really dropped in and trusts herself in that way too. I hope that was a good recap.
Perfect. Absolutely. I'm so glad you came on for the are you like on your phone now, just holding it? You're so sweet to come back.
Yeah, I'm on my phone now. But
okay.
The audio is still like on and off for me. Sometimes it's really echoey. I'm so sorry, you guys. It's like not my day.
Yeah, these things, I know these things happen all the time. If you've seen all my internet issues on all the live streams I've done, that's why I got a thing to plug my computer into the internet now. That's why I'm up here in this weird area to do live streams, but it really helps. So yeah, I'm so glad to have you back for that. Amazing. Everyone in the live chat, Chelsea was asking about online dating actually, which is what I think we're going to be talking about, I believe, in our training. If you guys join today, I'm going to talk about like my experience with that and share some tools that I've never shared before. I believe that's tomorrow, right around this time, right? So if you want to join live, if you're watching this after in a few weeks or months, you get access to all the Magnetic Mastery replays and everything. Okay, so for online dating, I think a really good mindset, people were saying how to be open, how to do number 4 when you're online dating and constantly getting hit with maybe rejection, maybe feeling triggered. So if I were just to give one brief tool, if a guy fades away or he's not the right guy, you just go, I didn't lose my future husband. This was not my future husband. So do yourself a favor and don't let this one guy who is not the right one for you keep you from the one who is by, messing up your vibration or causing yourself to create all these beliefs about all men, which is just not true, right? So if a man is like maybe, asking for photos and disappears or does something or is really sexual right away, rather than going, oh my God, all men online just want to hook up and feeling triggered and frustrated, just go, clearly this was not my future husband. So I'm going to do myself a huge favor. And actually, this is like a big act of loving yourself, in my opinion, is don't have those negative thoughts. Just go, great, he wasn't my future husband. I found that out right away before even having to go on a date with this man. Perfect. I can move forward, right?
I love that.
So that's my quick tool that allows you to be open. Otherwise, I think with online dating, you get this constant, like this feeling of like constant triggered, frustrated, discouraged, disappointed, angry, sad, whatever, rejected. You're like building this wall around yourself where the right guys can't get through. And I just see that happen so often. So hopefully that was just like a little tool that can help you guys out. Anything you want to add there, Chelsea?
I love that. No, I mean, that was so perfectly said. And just that energy of move on quickly, and also remembering, before the Wi-Fi got all messed up, I was talking about the idea of scarcity in dating, right? And so just noticing that when you have an experience like that, we want to go into like, oh my God, all guys are like this. And just watch that, right? Because what if as many guys as you've met who are maybe flaky or you're not attracted to, or like aren't really showing up or don't want something real, what if there were like 10 times the amount of guys as that actually do fit kind of your criteria? So just knowing that just because you've had a lot of experiences with guys that you don't like, it doesn't mean that the other men don't also exist at the same time.
Yeah.
And so that's a really good like mindset hack too, with dating.
Yeah, love it. Love it. It doesn't matter where you are in life. I've had, recently worked with women in their, let's say, late 50s, 60s, and beyond who met phenomenal men online, phenomenal men. It just took a little bit of mindset shifting, obviously during 2020 when things were a little different. I have some questions about that in the chat too. So yeah, it's all about, you can do this no matter what. Doesn't matter what you think you look like or anything. I've worked with women dealing with all kinds of issues like that. So thank you guys so much. Amazing. So let's see. This one from Debbie. He's been divorced 4 years. He had other relationships, says perhaps he shouldn't date at all because the guilt takes over. I believe she might have written in before he has children, the guilt from his 2 children or something. Right off the bat, without knowing more details, I would say believe him, believe him, right? He's letting you know perhaps he shouldn't date. To me, that's like a red flag, or like, don't put all your eggs in this basket. Don't get overly invested in a man who's saying something like that right away. That's what I would. Oh, looks like you guys are all on the same page with this, Chelsea. Anything you want to say with this situation, or a man who tells you anything? He's not ready for commitment. He's newly single, anything like that?
Yeah. I love how you say that
believe him, right? And
Mhm.
one of the things that I talk about a lot that I find really needed is describing to women what true masculine energy is. Well, one of the truly masculine traits is direct communication and honesty, right? And so, like, just really knowing that when a guy tells you something, you get to honor that. Maybe it's not what you want to hear, but don't try to force it to be something that it's not. Like, really appreciate a guy for being direct and honest, because he's actually in his masculine energy when he does that.
Love it. Yeah. You don't try and make these things what they're not, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I was jumping all around, Chelsea, because I was kind of answering questions while I was waiting for you to come back on. So if this is a little jumbled, I've jumbled. Okay. So great question from Samira. Oh my gosh. How often do you hear this, Chelsea? What if you already let him pass the boundaries? How do you restart? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one.
So I think it's good to keep in mind, like, before we go into kind of the practical, that you can't say the wrong thing to the right guy. So if you've messed up the energy or muddied up the energy, just come at it from this energy of, like, everything is repairable. Like, again, I can't miss my future husband, right? Even if I didn't have the right boundaries up front and all those things. So I think that at any time, the energy can be rebalanced through all the stuff we're talking about. At any moment, you can go from having low standards to having high standards, right? And the shift always happens first internally. And then from that place, you're often guided to say something, to take different actions than you have been taking, right? Like, your actions start to line up with the energetic boundaries that you've set. But just know that it's never too late to rebalance the energy. And it doesn't have to take a long time to come into that balanced feminine energy either.
Okay, love it. Ooh, that was such a good answer to that. Oh my gosh. Okay, Rachel, what to do when he comes close, then runs? Yeah, that's a pattern that he likely repeats over and over and over. To me, this is like such a red flag, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know if this is like someone you're in a long-term relationship with. My guess is it's probably just some guy that you're dating or met, and right? Because a man like this, it's a pattern for him. He comes too close. He gets scared and he backs off. And if he's just doing this all on his own and you're here and available to him, huge red flag. I'd say get away from that guy. Chelsea, any thoughts there?
Yeah. Well, and it kind of feels like a follow-up to believe what he says. Well, believe his actions too, right?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Believe his actions.
Yeah.
And again, just we might not be interacting with a high level masculine man, but we still get to have see them through the lens of the masculine energy. Like, okay, this is what his actions are doing. I'm going to receive those actions as like straightforward truth, not like him playing this game, him doing one thing, but meeting another. Just believe his words, believe his actions, and let it be simple like that.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh. Love it. Yeah. Men are not complicated. They do what they
not.
want to do, right? If he's calling and pursuing, it's because he wants to. If he's not, it's like kind of a hard pill to swallow. He doesn't want to. Like, it's not for some complicated reason that we can tend to make up, right? Speaking of, believing a guy, what about this one from Dawn? How can you tell a guy's being genuine with compliments, especially at the beginning? Any thoughts there, Chelsea? I've never gotten a question like that before. It's interesting.
In the beginning, I think that sometimes women try to rush to clarity or rush to try to know a guy before, or like know what their opinion is about a guy before they have even met him or had multiple conversations. And so just staying connected to how you feel and staying connected to your intuition and letting things play out, right? Like, I think that there's a certain level of containment we get to have in the dating process, especially like at the beginning. So give yourself time to really get to know someone, and don't make any assumptions, right? I know this can sound like kind of contradictory, but if we're going to believe his actions and believe his words, we need sometimes a little bit of time to pass to really get like, okay, how does he consistently show up? How does he consistently make me feel? Is this making sense? I hope.
Love it. I'm like amazed over here because when your Wi-Fi was having issues, I actually said a similar, it was a different question, but I said, don't try and rush clarity. It's actually something I think I heard from you in one of our coaching calls with our magnetic mentorship group. So don't try, because that's something I would always do too. We want to know what's going to happen before we invest anything, right? And so you have to trust yourself to not get over invested until some time has gone by and a man's been consistent with his actions, right? How are you doing? Are you okay holding up your phone and stuff? I'm
okay. I'm okay for a few more minutes. My husband did just get home, so if you see him pass by, just
awesome. I know. Tom's supposed to come home too. He's always so afraid of walking in the background. I'm like, it's fine. Nobody cares. Don't be worried about it. So funny, right? He's like, oh, he's always scaling the wall, trying to not show up in the frame. It's so cute. Okay, let me just take a couple more and let's see. How to deal with sleazy guys. Great question. Get rid of them, move on. And even more important, do what I said about the online dating. Like, don't let them mess up your vibration and keep you from the guy who's truly for you, who is not that like that, right? Yeah. Okay.
Move on quickly.
Awesome. Okay. You are so welcome. You guys are so sweet. Let's see. What advice do you give? Committing to a man. How have you created space to accept a wedding proposal along with ring wedding? What advice would you give for committing to a man's advances? I mean, if you're at a place where a man is doing all of these things, it sounds like you weren't quite sure if that's like maybe the right path for you. Chelsea, anything you have to say about your intuition? I think this is maybe a question about intuition and trusting yourself, or some kind of intuitive hit. I know you're a genius with that.
Yeah, I would say if you're not sure yet, it sounds like she's talking about some pretty big decisions, like lifelong commitment and those kinds of things. I feel like we can really echo what we just talked about around let's not rush it. Like I really feel that when you know, and if you don't know yet, just take the pressure off, right? And don't try to force yourself to make a decision or be clear before it's really authentic, So coming back into your intuition and taking the pressure off. And again, knowing like the feminine energy is not about urgency, right? And you talk a lot about urgency, Helena. So if there's any like pressure you're putting on yourself to be urgent and to decide before you really know, then you're going to feel really insecure making those decisions, right?
Yeah.
Feel that way. Yeah.
Love that. I knew you were going to have something great to say about that. Love that. Okay. Let's see. I think, you guys are so sweet. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. I think that you probably need to get going, right? We were going to try and keep this to 30 minutes anyway. We're a little over on time. So, the 5 things, again, real quick, I'll do the recap this time. She doesn't settle or accept crumbs. She has high standards, right? She doesn't compromise her values or her boundaries in the face of strong attraction or chemistry, especially. Number 2, she accepts herself. She accepts him fully, right? If he's shown that he's a good guy that really deserves your heart. Number 3, she trusts that the right man will pursue her all on his own. Trusting is a really feminine energy quality. She doesn't try to force something to fit that's not a fit, or apply tactics to try to make a man feel something or do something. Number 4, she's open and receptive and curious. She's not closed off or jaded, right? Or coming from a place where she's frustrated about all her past experiences with this brand new guy right in front of her or in her relationship. Number 5, she has confidence to express herself freely. She has no problem expressing her needs and boundaries and desires. So that was my quick recap. Hopefully that made sense to all of you guys. Here's what I saw a question in the chat, how to join. Close the live chat if you're watching live. Click the title of this video. It will open up the description. It's the first link in there. I'll also add it to the comments when we're done and pin it to the top. It's called the Magnetic Mentorship Circle. You can lock in the founding members price. It will never be this low again, and it will never go up for you when you join, right? So we had a few spots, like I think maybe 2 spots open up. So it's probably going to fill up quickly. There's only 2 of us, but we want to work with people personally who feel called to do that. And this is just my favorite thing I think I've ever done in terms of group coaching or personal coaching. I love this group of women so much. Anything you want to say about Magnetic Mentorship Circle?
I love everything you said was spot on. And also something that's been really beautiful to witness is just the supportive community that we've created in this space, where not only do you have our custom coaching and feedback, but you also get to feel seen and supported by the other women who are on the same path. And I think a lot of women who come to this work are the only ones in their lives doing this work, right? There's actually not that many of us. And so it can feel really isolating, right? When your friends are maybe still acting out in like their wounded patterns, or your family members or whatever. So this is an amazing space to come and feel seen and supported and really be in the group energy that just accelerates the healing and the growth when you're in a kind of community holding a shared intention, kind of shared values and stuff like that. So that's something that I think you guys are going to love as well.
Amazing. Yeah. And if you join soon, like we're going to be recording some live stuff this week. I don't want to get too into detail with it, but you'll have access to all of that. You'll have access to all the replays and everything. If you have questions about it at all, you can email, one or both of us and we'll get back to you with more details. But yeah, everything's just on the information page. So just click that first link in the description. I'll add to the comments too and learn more about. We would love to have you join, and we'll keep it open until it fills up. And then I believe it's closing on, is it April 18th?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to have it open for a few days. Yeah. So definitely, if you're feeling called, join ASAP. If the link still lets you join, that means that there's still spots. So.
Okay, got it. Yeah. So if you can join, there's still spots. I know people get frustrated because my classes and stuff fill up quickly and they can't get in. We wish we could just clone ourselves, but if you can join, there's still room available for you. So we love you guys. Thank you so much. Let us know if you have questions about that in the comments after this post. Chelsea, thank you so much. Thanks for coming back on your phone. You're so sweet. And
thank you so much for having me. And again,
of course,
I hope that it was seamless besides that.
I think it was, we'll see how the replay turns out, but I think it's totally fine. So, all right, we love you guys. Hope to see you in our magnetic mentorship circle and have a great rest of the day. Bye, Chelsea. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.